When people think about travelling WoW, their thoughts ultimately don't stray very far from flying. In vanilla we had no flying, and just moving from the main city to whichever dungeon or raid you were going to was a significant journey, especially by today's standards. Then in TBC, WoW's first expansion, we got access to flying at level cap for a fee. This became the general model for a while, except in Cataclysm where you could fly even when levelling. Then WoD changed it all, no flying even at level cap. It turned out that the plan was that there should be no flying at all, ever. Cue a player-based revolt and a very quick retraction of this plan in favour of flying being introduced part way through the expansion. So now we get flying only after a significant number of months, and even then, only if we have sufficiently explored the lands that we want to soar over. In my view, this is a decent compromise. Flying renders interesting terrain design pointless, and who wants a boring, featureless landscape? In both WoD and Legion, we had terrain that presented us with a nice challenge to navigate, almost puzzle-like at times. This is something that was essentially absent for many years because it was pointless designing these nice features that you would only ever see while you were levelling, then you would get flying, wouldn't need it anymore. Now, I personally wouldn't have minded if flying had never been brought into the game. But let's look at a couple of the arguments for why it should be in, and straight from level cap in some people's views. Some people just want to get from A to B in zero time. They're not bothered about the frustration element of travelling, they just want to do it in zero time and spend as little as time doing things in the game as possible. Now I guess these people would be happiest with an Elder Scrolls Online type arrangement where you can instantly teleport to way stations around the world. Blizzard were mindful of this and introduced the whistle to get you to the nearest flight point once every 5 minutes. However, there was another argument, and that was that the terrain is just too annoying to navigate. This argument I have much more sympathy for. There's no doubt about it, Blizzard have designed some gorgeous terrain for Legion, and with the triple view distances, WoW landscapes have never looked better. But when we get to awkward bits of terrain, we only have one way of negotiating them. Jumping. We jump, and we jump, and we jump again. And that doesn't work. We get on our mount and try and jump for a bit of extra height as if that's going to work. And that doesn't work. We try and run back and give it a run up and try and jump. And if we can't jump over an obstacle, then we have to go around. Is this really a satisfactory way of getting about on foot? I'd say not. Why don't Blizzard properly look at the way our characters interact with the environment, and maybe people wouldn't be as desperate for flying at the start of an expansion? Why can't we climb the rocks? I'm not suggesting we'd be like Spider-Man and scale tall, smooth walls, but our characters are fairly athletic, so why not allow us to do a bit of rock climbing in sensible terrain? It would not only allow us to interact with the world in a much more realistic way, but also give us options when we fall into a crevice and can't get out because, do you know what, we can't jump high enough. Also, why stop there? So let's say we get to the edge of a tall cliff or really high structure in Stormheim. Well, the grapples are a pretty good system, however they are in set locations. Well, if we want to get down a cliff, some classes have got it covered. Everyone can have access to gliders, but not everyone has them. Well, why not use a rope? We could have tailors that can make rope and blacksmiths that can make iron stakes. Consumables, of course, like the gliders. So we hammer a stake into the ground and then use the rope to climb down. Obviously, the rope would only be of set lengths and it would limit how far down we could go. But it would give us another option. Maybe we could go down ledge by ledge. We could even use this idea that we're not trying to get down something, but just trying to get a certain way down the structure. Maybe there are some mining or herbing nodes part way down a sheer cliff face, and we sort of have to abseil down to it. You might even have some quest items or bits of treasure. So it's not just necessarily a way of getting down to the ground below, but getting part way down at a time when we don't have flying. Again, adds more interesting ways to interact with the environment. There are so many ways in which Blizzard could make the experience of getting around difficult terrain a lot more fun, and although flying will always win from the point of view of convenience and speed, at least we would remove the frustration element that comes with travelling around the world without flight now. So anyway, those are just some of my thoughts. I hope you found them interesting. If you did, don't forget to subscribe for further content, share it with people that you might think are also interested in it, and until next time, I'll see you later.